What was I going to tell you?
I don't know.
What was I going to tell you?
Couldn't tell you.
What was I going to tell you?
Again, don't know.
Should I ask you again?
You can go one more time, but unless I have some sort of psychic ability, I don't know where you were going with it. We're talking about Joey Harrington, first of its kind.
No, I got Aaron Rodgers news.
Oh, yeah. Is it Aaron Rodgers non-news?
It seems like I was going to tell you something else, though. Yeah, it kind of is, but people want to know what the hell's going on with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And The Athletic had a report today that laid out what's going on with Aaron Rodgers.
And that would be...
Oh, you want to know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so he is a free agent.
First time in his career.
And they're saying that Rodgers wants to go to the Vikings, but the Vikings don't know whether they want Rodgers. And so what's happening is the Vikings are still kind of getting they're trying to figure out what they're going to do at quarterback.
Sure.
And while they wait, Rodgers is waiting for them.
Yeah. Well,
that's really what's happening.
Yeah, because the talk was that it was the Giants or the Steelers, and they basically both want Aaron Rodgers, and, no one's going to make a move until he decides. And then there was the report maybe a day or two ago that all of a sudden Minnesota had entered their hat into the ring. And Rodgers obviously would rather go to Minnesota. I mean, come on. That is by far the best situation. Plus, it would be hilarious to see the Brett Favre career arc come full circle. It would be it'd be amazing. But when you bring Aaron Rodgers in, and this is what we talked about, two things. Are you willing to bring in the headache that comes with Aaron Rodgers for the production you're going to get? And is Aaron Rodgers willing to play inside the structure of Kevin O'Connell's system? Because for years, the knock, and that was the rub with like Matt LaFleur, is Aaron Rodgers wants to run the Aaron Rodgers offense, which is predicated upon Aaron Rodgers, total control, quick passes, get out to the flats. That we all know the Aaron Rodgers total control at the line of scrimmage, and that's not what Minnesota runs. Far from it. So I think when you say, does Minnesota want Aaron Rodgers? I think that's the two-pronged attack. Is Aaron Rodgers going to be a bitch to J.J. McCarthy because he historically has not been great working with younger quarterbacks? Supposedly Zach Wilson and him were okay, though. So can you square that away? Is Aaron Rodgers willing to not do the darkness retreat, Pat McAfee sort of crap? I guarantee Minnesota's like, hey, man, if you want to go be on a podcast every week and air our dirty business, we're not doing that. Like, this is not what we're about here. And the other one is, can you play in the structure of our offense? And if the answer to those three questions are yes, one, buyer beware, because I'm not sure that those are going to be real answers. But if you can get those assurances, why not bring Aaron Rodgers in? And then the other one is, how much money does he want? And is he okay? What happens if J.J. McCarthy actually beats him out? And is Aaron Rodgers okay with that? Or does he want guarantees of being the guy? I do think there's a lot to work out if you're Minnesota before you decide to dive into the Aaron Rodgers pool. And I think that's a shallow pool, by the way.
Yeah, so Favre played in Green Bay till he was 39.
Yeah.
Or no, 38. And then when he turned 39, he went to the Jets for 1 year, and then he played 2 seasons in Minnesota at ages 40 and 41. Rodgers played in Green Bay till he was 39, played technically 2 seasons with the Jets, even though he technically didn't even play a game in that first season.
He played, 2 snaps?
But that at age 40 and 41...
Hey, double it up. It was 4 snaps.
Oh, hey.
Was it?
One of them was a penalty, though, so I don't think it counted.
I think that's right, but I think 4 total plays.
And now if he goes to Minnesota, he would need, 2 more years in Minnesota, ages 42, 43, and that is Brett Favre. The only difference is he played 1 extra season with the Jets.
Yeah.
And he was a little older.
I just know if I'm a Giants fan right now, realize that I am sitting around. And by the way, if I'm their GM or head coach, it's my ass on the line this year. If it doesn't go well, if I don't win 10, 11 games, I'm getting fired. Realize that you are sitting around waiting on one of 3 choices. Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson. Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco?
Oh, yeah. They brought Flacco in. Russell Wilson and Joe Flacco are the other 2 quarterbacks that have visited the Giants.
If this were 15 years ago.
Exactly, right? Like, you are sitting around like, you've stepped in it when the savior for your job is one of those 3 players.
Yeah, it's tough. Apparently, the same Athletic article says the Giants have offered Rodgers the most money. but he doesn't want to go there. He wants to go to Minnesota.
Well, of course he does.
And if he
'cause-
doesn't go to Minnesota, he'll probably go to Pittsburgh.
Well, because the Giants are the worst of those three.
So everybody's waiting.
And they're also the most desperate of the three because, again, their GM and coach are going to get fired. Always remember this. Teams make dumb decisions all the time because you're going to get fired if you don't do something desperate, which is why I hate lame duck coaches and GMs. Like the Giants decided they were like, all right, we're going to give you one more year. Just fire them. Because if you go into the offseason and tell your GM and tell your coach, hey, it's do or die time, you are going to lead those people to make worse decisions because it's not based on what actually makes you better in the long run. It's based on what can I do to save my job.
Based on desperation.
Yes. Cleveland falls into this right now. The Giants fall into this right now, where you're just kind of forced to make knee-jerk reactions, whereas like maybe at a place like New Orleans and a place like Tennessee, Denver that ate a bunch of dead money last year, the Raiders this year, you've given them some runway to say, okay, if you're bad, that's all right. You know, we'll take our medicine, we'll lose 4 or 5 games and we'll move on. And you know, and that should be enough unless you're like Gerard Mayo and then they fire you after 1 year. So even when you think you have a runway, you really don't. But it's just amazing how many dumb decisions get made based on, oh my God, I'm going to lose my job.